I failed so many times. People probably know that I'm applying jobs for so many jobs, over 30 jobs, all rejected, not even got a chance. 24 of us interviewed for a KFC job. 23 accepted. I was the only guy rejected. 6 people went for looking for a police job. 5 accepted. I was the only one. My cousin and I applied job as a server in a 4-star hotel in my city. We waited a long queue for 2 hours. He was accepted. I was rejected. So my mother looked at me, but I know this is a training course for me. Before my 30 years old, I'm a failure. People lose, but I never give up. I think there is an opportunity there. And then I was a teacher later. I graduated from university. I was a teacher in the university for 6 years. Number 5 year, I was elected the best teacher of my university, elected by students. So I said, everything I taught my students are the things I learned from books. What if I go out, spend 10 years, experience all the things, whether fail or succeed, I go back to teach again. That was my original thinking doing Alibaba. So I never thought I could be rich. I never thought I would be successful. I never thought we could survive for 18 years. And then we made it. The only thing that today we should do is share the experience and know-how, especially share the mistakes, suffers with others. My thinking is that you guys remember, if you want to be successful, learn from the other people's mistakes. Don't learn from the successful stories. Successful stories they make, don't listen to them. There are a lot of reasons behind it. I remember the first time Harvard Business School came to us, saying, Jack, we want to write a case study for you. I guess years 2001 or 2000. They came, they spent 1 week and they write a report and I read, no, I said, this is not me. And this is you. I said, no, this is not us. He said, this is you. So they make up his sign and the case study go up and they start to teach in a lot of universities. The next 5 years, they invited me to go to the case study and they always find a competitor of my company. And after every case study, Alibaba will die, that company will succeed. All the students agree. And actually, every 5 years, all the competitors die, we still survive. So how can you study this kind of a successful story? Learn from the mistakes, the other people. No matter how smart you are, you will encounter these mistakes. You learn from mistakes not because you will be able to avoid mistakes. You will able to, when these mistakes come, this suffer comes, you know how to deal with it. It's Alibaba 1001 mistakes. This is the most treasurable things that in my life. In my life, it's not how much we achieved. It's how much we've gone through the tough days and mistakes. And this is what, if you start to think now.
I think today people worry a lot about the world, about the economy, China economy in the world, but I'm very optimistic. When people start to worry, that is the opportunity is. But I worry about the blood testing and she created good things. And I think great innovations, great companies always happen in the tough times. Life's like the music. You have up, you have a down, you have a long, you have a short notes. And I like the American movie, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get, right? So I'm pretty optimistic. The opportunity in the future for equality is huge because in the last century, the IT is for big companies. The globalization is for big companies. But now with the technology, we can serve those 80% of the companies that never been served. We can serve the 80% of the young people that have never been served. Technology for internet is so cheap, so easy to use. One of the reasons why we grow in China e-commerce so fast, much faster than the USA, because our infrastructure of commerce in China was too bad. When it is too bad, something happens and goes. Today we are working on the rural areas of China. I can never imagine that China, about 800 million people still live in the rural areas, are farmers. And there are about close to 200 million people. Their income is less than $1 per day. And before the internet, it's impossible for these guys to reach the PC because it's so difficult. Even people like me, I don't know how to use a PC. But now 80% of the farmers, those people using mobile phones. When I have the mobile phones, the internet, the data, things change a lot. So I'm excited about the future. People always worry. I love the young kids sitting there and talking about the dream, the hopes, because if they have the hope, we have the hope. That's what I believe. A company, if you have 100 crazy guys, we do not think we are crazy. We think the outside world are crazy.
Yeah.
So this is very, very important. For the first 3 years of Alibaba, we had no revenue, no business model. And I told the team, forget about the money, revenue today. If you want to be a long-term company, the only thing think about is customers. The best revenue for our first 1 or 2 years. The best revenue is what? It's the email of thanks. That's the best revenue. If the customer sends you an email saying, you are great. I was so happy early days when I went to a small restaurant, people will pay my bill with a small note to say, Jack, thank you very much. I know you do not make money, but we made a lot of money through your website.
Yeah.
I like that. Even now, today, I had a lot of customers, they pay me something, It's not a bribery, but there's a boy is in the hotel. He opened the door for me, say, Jack, thank you so much. My wife makes more money than me on your site. So this is the best.
Yeah.
And I want to keep this culture in the company, keep on going.
So,
the second thing is culture, the people. And the third is build up a healthy environment for Alibaba. Accounting, marketing, I know very little about that. But the thing I learned from being a teacher, that a teacher always want his students to be more successful and better than you are. So I learned to be a good CEO. When I hire people, I always want to hire those people who are smarter than I am. And today I give a lot of advice to my colleagues. When they hire people, there's one judge. Look at the young man. If you think he will be your boss, he will be my boss in 5 years, hire him. Do not find people who will follow you all the time. So as a teacher, you want this student become a banker, that's the scientist, there's a mayor. You don't want this student bankrupt that is in jail, So this is the way that I benefit. And then when I become a CEO, I call myself Chief Education Officer. And I love to talk, I love to share, because when as a teacher, you may not know a lot of things. The only things you learn and you share. People may not like the way I talk. And my job is not to make people happy. My job is to make people think. This is the way we did. If it is helpful for you, take it. If it's not helpful for you, just to forget it. So I love to be with the entrepreneurs, because you guys, and I believe one thing, I'd give my advice to all of you, as an entrepreneur, today is very difficult, and tomorrow is even more difficult. But the day after tomorrow is very beautiful. Most people die tomorrow evening. You have to work hard, you have to learn, you have to rely on your team. And that's my business.